With the extraordinary claims of government fraud by the president and similar claims of maximal transparency by Elon Musk, but little evidence of either to back it up.
Get ready for this one. Now the narrative is officially changing to Elon Musk does not have enough transparency, or the Department of Government Efficiency, they're not giving enough evidence to the American public as far as their claims. So we have all of the new meltdowns revolving around this topic and other new topics as well. Before we start this video, as you know, please like the video. It helps out so much, and it's the #1 way you can help this channel and help others out as well to see the video. So let us begin.
So the definition of it is he's not been on the front end of this so far. He's not been transparent. I mean, there may be...
They are making routine announcements about the things they are finding, and they are inviting questions about the things they are finding every single day.
But by definition, he's not being transparent. They're not providing data for the things that they say they have found evidence of. They just aren't.
Okay, just a little education for you guys. There's actually so much transparency, it's almost overwhelming how much information is being brought to the public's eye. You can go to the Department of Government Efficiency's Twitter page or X page. It's literally 24/7. There are new updates all the time, and also throughout the internet, there are updates everywhere. If anything, it's the opposite of transparency. It's almost as if we're being spammed with information.
The question was, by definition, they're not being transparent. They can continue to be successful.
What do you want them to do?
Provide data. If they're provide data that they have found people. Everyone would want to know if someone has received kickbacks to the tune of tens of millions of dollars.
I don't disagree with you. I love the idea of data. I love the announcements. I love them putting out regular reports of what they're doing.
They have not.
And I love the idea of Congress also bringing them up to report to Congress on what they're finding, because ultimately Congress needs to be engaged in this as well.
I almost started a new YouTube channel to give you guys the Doge updates, because there are so many updates and they are very transparent. Whether or not you want to believe their information, that's on you. Let us continue.
I mean, are we okay with the government telling corporations how they can govern themselves?
There's nothing less conservative than that, and less of a Republican value.
So you're saying we should do away with the FCC?
No, I'm not saying we should do away with the FCC.
Is that the conservative view?
I'm saying that no government agency should be
stop this conversation right there, because I think it's so...
I mean, we're in the mood right now.
Scott, it's in such bad faith for you to take what she just said and then say you want to get rid of the FCC.
No, she said we should have less regulations. This is a regulatory agency. What are they supposed to do?
That's not at all what she said.
This is why I love making these videos, because we have these narrative changes of, well, we're going to go after the Department of Government Efficiency, they're not being transparent, but also, as Scott Jennings says, hold on, why are you not keeping that same energy to go after the FCC or other regulatory departments within the government? What's the problem here, people? Leave your comments down below if you agree with Scott Jennings.
The Biden administration treated the press as poorly as any president has ever treated them, gave them less access, answered no questions, no transparency at any given time. Donald Trump's answered more questions in 3 weeks than Joe Biden answered in 4 years. Elon Musk answered more than
also a lot of the answers.
Come on, Brian. This administration is giving the most access to the press they could possibly want.
Just to be clear.
We are still talking about Joe Biden for some reason, and there are still news anchors out there trying to defend Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I think it is objectively true that Donald Trump has way more transparency than Joe Biden. We literally have podcasters and social media influencers who are now allowed to report the news. No more gatekeeping. So again, it is kind of crazy. Why are people still defending Joe Biden? If anything, you should say, yeah, what Joe Biden did was wrong. Let us get more press in there like we're seeing with Donald Trump.
But I would say, especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to Doge. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what Doge is doing. There is an X account with the Doge handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door.
Even the White House is addressing the issue of the quote-unquote lack of transparency. Again, if anything, there is almost too much transparency that you might miss some of the information that's being brought out to the public. So I just wanted to point out, even the White House is aware of these rumors and addressing the issue head on.
Now, we should in no way be cooperating with House Republicans who want to shut down the Department of Education and destroy Medicare and Medicaid. And we should not stand by as the richest man on the planet gives himself and his companies huge tax cuts while the American people get absolutely nothing.
Okay, so we are starting to see a more united front as far as going after Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Just a few weeks ago, we were going after the egg prices. Just a few days ago, we were going after constitutional crisis. But now it looks like the lack of transparency seems to be the universal consensus of how can we go after Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Again, pay attention to these narrative shifts because you'll notice it's typically on a united front between members of government and the media. And by the way, it's not only Democrats, it's also you have some Republicans and conservatives who don't like what's going on with Elon Musk.
Eager to allow Elon Musk and his hackers to have access to proprietary and private information in the Treasury payment systems. Why are our colleagues across the aisle shielding them as they are clearly breaking the law? And why is the vice president trying to rewrite the U.S. Constitution by tweet?
I apologize for how much this video is sounding like a broken record and it sounds like I'm just replaying the same clips, but I really want to show you guys, and I'm not trying to fabricate anything. It truly is like this right now in the media. If you go and watch some of the TV shows and the news anchors, the people who don't like Elon Musk, it's the broken record of lack of transparency, lack of transparency, lack of transparency.
These tech billionaires, are any of them happy?
What Musk does is sort of, he's 53 years old now at this point, and he sort of engages in memes, dank memes and stupid jokes and things like that. So the ones that haven't progressed beyond, 12 years old, emotionally, I think have a problem.
Yeah, he changed his Twitter ID to like a juvenile joke earlier today, and then...
Yeah, he likes that, yeah.
I mean, I'm not offended. It's just stupid.
Well, you've got it. I mean, I think the thing is he's underneath all that. He's quite a crafty and strategic person. And so some of it is performative. Some of it is deep insecurity. Some of it is he likes the power.
I cannot believe that is a real news segment. That lady just said he performs in dank memes. And by the way, CNN, you guys are the ones who said his Twitter name out loud, which was Harry Bowles. You guys are the ones that fell for the troll and the trap. Elon Musk did this all on purpose so that the mainstream media gets caught saying the name of his Twitter handle. But again, the point is, it's pretty crazy how far the media is willing to go as far as trying to discredit Elon Musk. Does anybody actually like Elon Musk? Dude, he doesn't care. He's the world's richest man, and he's trying to do his job with the Department of Government Efficiency and all of the other businesses he's running. It's a very, very odd news segment.
So clarifying that the government can limit access to federal funds on the basis of the applicable authorizing statutes, regulations, and terms. Essentially, yes, the government can do so in complying with regulations, and then that the previous order does not bar both the president and much of the federal government from exercising their own lawful authorities to withhold funding without the prior approval of the district court, meaning...
So if you are unaware, the narrative was this is a constitutional crisis. It is illegal what Donald Trump is doing, cutting the funds of these government agencies. You have to go through the government first. Turns out, legally speaking, a district court said actually it's not illegal. And since this is the case, the other district courts who are trying to halt and stop the Doge team and Donald Trump from cutting funds, yeah, you can't do that. So now that is why we are seeing this new narrative shift of, well, there's a lack of transparency here. But I just want to point out, for the last few weeks, we kept hearing it's illegal, it's illegal, it's illegal. Turns out it's not illegal what Donald Trump is doing.
If you look at the front page of the New York Times right now, it says basically we're in a constitutional crisis, even though there isn't a complete clear definition. Citing different deans of law schools from across the country and experts talking about being in this crisis because of the flurry of things that Trump has done, from birthright citizenship freezing federal spending, shutting down agencies, removing leaders from agencies. The systematic, unconstitutional, and illegal acts create a constitutional crisis, one legal expert said.
Believe it or not, I really try hard to not make MSNBC look the way they do. I really wish there was one news agency that was more left-leaning, that had a pretty decent opinion that could challenge Republicans or conservatives. But unfortunately, over on MSNBC, they really have a lackluster of that, and I want them to do better. I want them to be a good news agency so we could have a better discussion here.
Why do you think the AP won't just call it the Gulf of America? I mean, the president does rename things. We rename what's the mountain, Denali, Mount McKinley.
Let me read their explanation for why they are not doing it. Essentially, they are saying that Trump's order only carries authority within the United States. Mexico, as well as other countries and international bodies, do not have to recognize that name change. The Gulf of Mexico has carried that name for 400 years. As was said at the table, and the Associated Press is going to refer to it by its original name, while acknowledging that Trump has a new name that he would like to call it. They are an international organization. No one except Trump with a pen has said that it's the Gulf of America. It's a body of water that also has borders with another country. And
I apologize for the long clip. In fact, I even think it's a boring topic, but it's rather relevant because it goes to show we have differing opinions as far as the political process and the congressional process. Donald Trump literally made it the legal name of Gulf of America. And then not only that, we had a compliance order that the federal agencies in charge of like travel and in charge of renaming things in general, they also had to affirm that this is the Gulf of America. What Donald Trump's newsroom and agency is saying, if you're going to come into our newsroom and not call it that, then we have a little bit of suspicion that you're either trying to twist the news or fabricate a narrative that is not going to be good for the American public, when legally speaking, it is the Gulf of America. Now, you can call anything you want. I can call a computer a desktop. I can call paper towels bounty paper if I want. But legally speaking, it is literally the Gulf of America. That is why on your Google Maps or Apple Maps or anything, they had to change it to Gulf of America.
It's been named that for 400 years.
I know, but we have a lawful process in this country for changing the name of it. The president went through it with the Secretary of the Interior, by the way. I mean, it feels a little
different. Can I just answer your Denali question? The Denali thing is actually different because that's a place that's in the United States proper. It exists in
but we changed the name of it. The point is we changed the name of it.
We have the ability to change the name. It's Mount McKinley. It's Mount McKinley.
But we also have the ability to change this body of water. I think. Look, this smacks to me of a news organization looking for a way to pick a fight with Donald Trump over something that they don't need to pick a fight over.
Exactly.
B, he is the president, and there is a lawful process that he did follow to do it.
The news organization
why won't they just
pick a fight with Donald Trump over this. Donald Trump picked a fight with the news organization.
No, they're not calling it by the name.
No,
that's the fight.
And I'm going to say this as nice as possible. I love the common man of America. I love the people who are working every single day, whether it's in Walmart and Target and coal mines, anything. But at the end of the day, there are people who just don't have time to look into all of these policies. Maybe you're watching a video like mine and you're relying on the news and hoping it's accurate. So when you have people like the Associated Press who are not calling it the Gulf of America when it's literally called the Gulf of America, for people who just don't have time, I'm not going to say they're not educated, but they just don't have the time to look into these things, and they're saying, well, why is the AP saying it's not the Gulf of America? I was just told it's the Gulf of America. You can see how this is actually undermining the American public, especially for the common man who's working every single day to make this country great.
Many outlets in this room have been fear-mongering the American people into believing there is a constitutional crisis taking place here at the White House. I've been hearing those words a lot lately. But in fact, the real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law. And they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits.
We have quite the contrast between the Biden administration and Donald Trump as far as the awareness of what's going on and addressing the issue. Would we ever see Joe Biden addressing all of the rumors and issues that he would be facing against the media? Absolutely not. You had to ask the question. You had to do it the old school way. Nowadays, you have the Trump administration not even allowing for you to ask the question. They're going to bring up and know what you're about to ask and address it head on. And I'm being very honest with you. On this channel, this is not like the Trump hype channel. This is not the we're conservatives, we're better than everybody else channel. I have no problem critiquing Donald Trump and conservatives and Republicans. However, what they're doing right now is very amazing. It's a good thing. And I think it's great for the American public. I feel bad for the people who don't have the time to actually do their own research and they're just believing the headlines of all of this is a constitutional crisis. This is all bad for America. Luckily, the majority of Americans think it's quite the opposite. They think it's good for America, and I will leave it at that. God bless you all. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are all amazing, and thank you for everything. See you guys later.